So here we are on hole 13. I pushed my tee shot a little bit to the right. So I've got this tree to negotiate here. We did the right to left shot on number 10 underneath the tree, and now we're going to talk about how to curve it left to right, which most of us probably do anyway. But we're going to talk about how to do that intentionally. So a lot of it is just the exact opposite of what you do to make it curve right to left. So when I set up, now the pin here is in the back right, which I'm really not concerned with at all. The only concern that where the hole is from here, the only concern I have about that is where do I want to leave myself so I give myself a reasonable chance to make 4 or at worst 5. So I want to make sure that I start this ball far enough to the left that I don't hit this tree, because I can hit it somewhere short left of the green and now I've got a relatively easy shot with the whole green to work with. If I miss it to the right here, I've got an almost impossible up and down, or if I miss it long. So I'm going to make sure that I aim my body quite a bit to the left. So the very last cart sign on the left down there is going to be where I aim my body. And when I aim the club face, I'm going to aim it just at the left side of the green. So again, we're building in this differential to where when I make contact with the ball, I'm swinging to the left of where my club face is pointed, or my club face is pointed to the right of where I'm swinging. And that's what's going to give it that left to right spin that we need. So I'm going to try and hit a shot that starts a little left and curves back to the right. If it doesn't curve a whole lot, it's not a big deal. But the thing that we want to eliminate here is we don't want to hit this tree and we don't want to miss it right. So I've chosen 2 hybrid, and because it's such a long club, it's going to curve a lot easier than if I was hitting, say, a 7-iron. So the loft, or the lack of loft on this club, is going to help curve it. One of the reasons why hitting your longer clubs generally is harder for most people, because there's not enough loft, and it's going to spin more sideways. So we're going to give this shot a try here. So I'm aiming my club face first. You always want to aim your club face first, and then I'm aiming my stance quite a bit to the left of that. And I've made it up front center portion of the green. At least now it's probably going to come back off the front, but it's coming back a little. But I'm very happy with that shot, and I know that I can make 4 at the worst 5 from there. Okay, so here we've got a slice or fade shot pattern here. If you look at the numbers on the bottom there, club path 16.3 degrees to the left. So you can look at the yellow line of what happened on that particular shot, because this unit, this FlightScope X2 launch monitor, actually measures the ball until it lands. So it's got 1.4 billion waves coming out from in front of it that are measuring everything from about waist high on the downswing to waist high in the follow through, and measuring club path, club face, angle of attack, anything you'd want to know. So if we look at the number on the bottom again, 16.3 degrees to the left. So my ball curved to the right, but I swung quite a bit to the left. And if we look at the spin axis of the ball down here on the bottom on this shot, 22 degrees to the right. So you can see the ball would spin along that axis and it's going to curve to the right. So we're going to take a look at a different screen here. If we look at that top left box, the first thing that would jump out at me is that my club face angle is 0.5 degrees to the left. So essentially my club face, which is the yellow line on that box, which is kind of perpendicular to the line that's going right across the screen. If you look at that number, essentially my club face was pretty much pointed at my target. But if we go back to that first screen and we take a look, you could see that that ball did not go to my target. In fact, it curved quite a bit to the right. And that's because the differential between where I swung and where my club face was pointed. So if I'm swinging 16.3 degrees to the left, if my club face is 0.5 degrees, that's about a 16-degree difference between where I swung and where my club's pointed. So essentially, my club is 16 degrees to the right of where I swung, or 16 degrees open. So if you've got a 16-degree open club face, assuming you're hitting in the center of the club face, it's going to curve to the right, regardless of anything else that you're doing. If you hit it in the center and your club face is that open, it's always going to curve to the right. So that's another thing that people kind of get a little bit confused with when they're out there hitting shots that curve left to right. And what they do is they keep swinging more left to prevent the ball from going right. And of course, what happens is the ball curves more to the right. So the only way to really tell exactly what your numbers are is to get on the launch monitor, So you can certainly contact me, AndyMillerGolf.com, BerkshireTeachingPro@yahoo.com, or BerkshireCountryClub.org. Set up a time to come out on the launch monitor.